This video is brought to you by the Wonderful 101, exclusively on Wii U.
What's up, guys? Marty here with Andrew, and we just got back from Ubisoft's digital days, where we saw their lineup of this year and next year, all the games that they're releasing, digitally and on mobile. But two games specifically stood out to us, both of which were in the UbiArts, their new kind of engine that Rayman Legends uses, and those were Child of Light and Valiant Hearts. So tell us a little about Child of Light.
Child of Light is from the writer-director of Far Cry 3, but it's like a drastic departure from that game. Pretty much as far from that game as you can get.
Honestly, yeah.
And it's inspired by like a couple like turn-based RPGs, like Final Fantasy VI and a few other things specifically they've talked about. And it's the story of this young girl named Aurora, and she is in. Is it like an alternate world?
So she was this girl who grew up in, like, I think they said in the 1800s in Holland.
Yeah.
And she somehow like found her way into this magical world that she assumes is a dream, but then slowly realizes like, nope, this is real and there's danger here.
And she's trying to return home to her father.
Yeah.
And so the game is really cool. It's her story, and you also have this companion named Igniculus, who is like a
little sprite.
A little like floaty
flame.
ball.
Yeah.
And he there's actually co-op gameplay, so it's like we played it together the first time I played, and so it's one person is Aurora, and that's like your typical like JRPG hero type character. Like in a turn-based battle, she has abilities to choose from. She can heal.
Yeah,
she
you
can
have a
attack.
full party that slowly grows.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's elemental attacks. There's earth. There's water. There's fire. Earth, wind, and fire.
Yep. Great band.
And then whereas Igniculus, kind of explain how that works.
Yeah, so you control him where he's a sprite that can float freely around the battle. You can find these little like flowers that give you health and give you energy and experience, and also you can go move over an enemy and sort of freeze them in place, and that helps with the battle system, which is a lot like Grandia 2, where it's sort of this race at the bottom of the screen. And if an enemy gets into the red part right near the finish line, I could slow him using my partner character, and then if Andrew attacks them while they're frozen in the red, then they completely lose their turn. So honestly, above like any other turn-based RPG, this is the first one I've ever really wanted to play co-op, which is kind of crazy.
I agree. The co-op actually really helps because otherwise, and it's still early, this game's not coming out until 2014, they're working out how the mechanic will work single player, but it sounds like you'll either swap between them, or it might even just be automated in some way. I feel like that's not ideal. I feel like you knowing that you want to stop that enemy, and you knowing that like I'm low on health, so you can come heal me, and doing that stuff, like being a partner and being aware of what's going on, would be like almost impossible to simulate, I would imagine, or to do both at once.
Yeah, and the game is so damn charming. Like visually, they said they set out to like take Amano's paintings from like the character sketches of Final Fantasy VI and just put those in the world, and like that's what you're controlling as. And the music was really good. The entire script is written in this sort of like poetry and this rhyming verse.
It's like an A/B verse. And the game's also really deep. Like there's a skill tree, so like the way you're choosing every time you level up, you get a skill, and you're choosing like your abilities, like depending on how you want to make your character. So it's like. If you want to focus on elements, you can do that. If you want to focus on physical attacks, you can do that. Like, and then you obviously are adding for the rest of your party, leveling them up as well.
I mean, the game looks rad.
Really well. It's
coming next year. PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One, PC, and Wii U. So
and on Wii U, you assume it'll be the tablet will be for.
So you have no reason not to play this. And the other game was Valiant Hearts.
Yeah, Valiant Hearts looks really cool too. That's also an UbiArt framework, which again is the Rayman Legends engine, and the big thing with it is you can take concept art, pop it right in, and
that's pretty much what you're controlling.
Yeah, and so Valiant Hearts is Ubisoft Montpellier. It's a really small team who has previously worked on Rayman, Beyond Good and Evil, a bunch of other stuff. And it's the story of these 5 characters in World War I. So it's between 1914 and 1918. And it's
it draws from actual letters from the war, so it says like this is inspired by real letters that were found after the war.
Sure, yep, and actually one of the guys leading our demo, you find a dog tag in the game, and he had it with him. It was like his great grandfather's dog tag
from the war, which is crazy.
That was really cool. But so it's these 5 characters. In our demo when we first started, I don't know if it's the main character being in the game, but in our demo you started this guy named Emile, who is a French prisoner of war in a German camp, and he's there during this bombardment. And he's one. Later you meet like this guy, Freddy, who's like an American soldier. And sort of these 5 characters who you meet are all tied together by this dog, this medic dog. It's like adorable medic dog.
So Emile, at the end of the first scene, there's a bombardment and he's stuck under the rubble, and this kind of dog comes over and helps him out. It's like the cutest dog. And so these 5 characters are all going to kind of cross paths throughout the war, and it's this dog that's their constant. But the gameplay is this. It's a 2D sort of like a puzzle adventure game. We had to you have to use a bone. If you throw a bone, the dog will play fetch with it. You have to use there's like different weight puzzles. You have to, as one character, you had to slowly go like under this gun encampment and like blow up a bridge. Using a little stealth. And so each of the characters have a different ability. Yeah, the entire game is again incredibly charming. All the communication is nonverbal, so when they talk, it's just a picture. Like you get hit by a guard, and you see a picture of a water bowl and water being put into it. So obviously he wants you to, get water for his dog.
And that's what's so weird. It's like, so it has this like really stylized Rayman style, visual, but it's like covering really serious material.
Yeah,
and it's trying to get this guy Carl, German soldier, to meet with Emil's daughter, who he's in love with, and it'll come together. It's really cool. I'm super excited.
And so that one is probably gonna be a little bit later in 2014.
Yeah, no platforms are finalized.
No platforms are finalized. We played on a PC with a PS4 controller, but that doesn't really.
And you can rub the touchscreen to make the dog to do a belly
rub.
rub.
If you rub the touchscreen on the PS4, you can pet the dog's belly. So that's obviously a system seller right there.
For sure.
Yeah, those are the two coolest things. Honestly, those are two of the coolest games we've seen in a really long time. So
I agree.
Yeah, for everything else Ubisoft and especially Child of Light and Valiant Hearts, keep it right here on IGN.